Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving headfirst into one of the most intense, highly structured, and visually striking sequences you'll find anywhere in ancient apocalyptic literature. We are unpacking the text of Revelation 8. So, whether you know this text like the back of your hand or you're checking it out for the very first time, we're going to map out exactly how this intricate, dramatic sequence of events actually unfolds.
Okay, let's get right into it. To give you a little context from the source text, the narrative leading up to this exact moment involves a scroll, and it's locked tight by 7 seals. Now, 6 of those seals have already been popped open, and they've brought all kinds of massive upheaval. But that brings us to the ultimate question, right? What happens when that final 7th seal is broken? What is the grand finale of this sequence? Let's dive right into the mystery of the text and explore the immediate and honestly kind of surprising consequences of opening this final seal.
All right, part 1. Silence and the 7th seal.
So our chronological countdown begins, and you might be expecting a massive explosion of action, right? But actually, we get this unsettling pause. When the 7th seal is opened, the text describes a profound, tension-building silence in heaven that lasts for about half an hour. 30 minutes, in a narrative that has literally been filled with loud voices, thundering choruses, and cosmic chaos up to this point. This sudden, extended silence is incredibly striking. It acts like a dramatic vacuum. It's signaling to the reader that something absolutely massive is being prepared behind the scenes. Following that incredibly heavy silence, the whole focus shifts. The text introduces a brand new set of actors and a totally new framework for what's about to happen. It describes 7 angels standing before God, and to each of them, a trumpet is handed over. This right here is a crucial transition in the source material. We're officially moving away from the structure of the 7 seals, and we're transitioning directly into the sequence of the 7 trumpets. Which brings us to part 2. The golden censer ignites. But wait, before those trumpets can even make a sound, the narrative hits pause for a very specific ceremony. This heavenly ritual unfolds step by step. First, an angel takes a golden censer and is given a huge amount of incense. And the text explicitly points out that this incense is mixed with the prayers of all God's people, and the smoke of this mixture floats up before God. Then, for step 2, the angel takes that very same censer and fills it with fire straight off the altar. Finally, in this sudden, violent motion, the angel just hurls that fire-filled censer straight down onto the earth. And boom! This brilliantly illustrates the direct cause and effect relationship the text is setting up between the heavenly realm and the earthly realm. The result of this hurled fire is an immediate violent reaction on earth. The text lists it out perfectly: peals of thunder, deep rumblings, flashes of lightning, and an earthquake. This sensory overload officially shatters that half hour of silence, acting basically as the starting gun for the angels holding those trumpets. Let's move on to part 3, Trumpets 1 and 2. With the stage definitively set and the silence completely broken, those 7 angels prepare to sound their trumpets. And what follows is this highly rhythmic, almost mathematical sequence of ecological and cosmic destruction. The first angel sounds his trumpet. Instantly, the text says that hail and fire mixed with blood are hurled down upon the earth. It is a visceral, terrifying image that directly targets the land and the vegetation. Now, this is where the text introduces a really specific recurring motif regarding how this destruction is limited. Precisely, 1/3 of the earth and 1/3 of the trees are burned up. Now, interestingly, it does mention that all the green grass is burned up, but for the larger ecological systems, it's strictly capped at 1/3. So it's a severe event for sure, but it's not total annihilation. 67% remains completely intact, and you'll see this mathematical precision is practically a hallmark of this entire chapter. And the sequence just keeps rolling. When the second angel sounds, the target shifts away from the land and goes straight for the ocean. The text describes something that looks like a huge mountain, all ablaze, being thrown directly into the sea. And there's that rule of thirds continuing exactly as before. The impact of this blazing mountain is systematically measured out. 1/3 of the sea turns to blood. 1/3 of the living creatures in the sea die. And in a nod to human commerce and travel, 1/3 of the ships are destroyed. The structure here is relentlessly consistent, moving methodically from the earth to the saltwater oceans, and dismantling exactly 1/3 of each domain. On to part 4, the star named Wormwood. So the focus shifts again. We've seen the destruction of 1/3 of the land, 1/3 of the sea, and now the narrative zeroes in on the fresh waters. The third angel sounds his trumpet. This time, A great star, blazing like a torch, falls right out of the sky, and the text says it specifically lands on a third of the rivers and on the springs of water.
Now, unlike the previous projectiles we've seen, this entity actually gets a name. The text states the star is named Wormwood. Now, that name signifies bitterness, which perfectly explains the consequence outlined in the source text. Because of this falling star, a third of the waters turn bitter. And the text doesn't shy away from the human toll here, stating that many people died from drinking the waters that had become bitter. It is a highly targeted strike on the very resources humans need to sustain life.
Part 5. The sky turns dark. Following the poisoning of the fresh water, this wave of destruction reaches upward into the cosmos itself. As the fourth angel sounds his trumpet, the devastating sequence targets the sky. It's essentially a systemic dismantling of the environments that give order to human existence, and now it's reaching all the way into the heavens. Once again, the text's strict boundaries are heavily enforced. It dictates that a third of the sun, a third of the moon, and a third of the stars are struck. The result? A third of them simply turned dark. This means that a third of the day was left entirely without light, and identically, a third of the night lost all its illumination. That rhythmic fractional breakdown of the natural world is mathematically maintained through all four of these initial trumpet blasts.
Finally, Part 6. The Eagle's Final Warning. Okay, so after 4 trumpets have systematically dismantled exactly 1/3 of the Earth's ecosystems, its oceans, its freshwater, and its celestial light, you'd probably expect the 5th trumpet to sound right away. But no. The narrative abruptly pauses. An eagle is seen flying high in midair. And this eagle isn't just a passive observer up there. It delivers a loud, stark warning directly to the inhabitants of the Earth. It's this incredibly dramatic interlude designed to shift the tone from ecological destruction to something else entirely. The eagle cries out this precise, chilling message. Woe, woe, woe. 3 woes, directly matching up with the 3 trumpets that haven't been blown yet. The eagle's message explicitly tells us that the preceding devastation, the burning land, the bloody seas, the poisoned water, the darkened sky, that was only the beginning. It frames the remaining 3 trumpet blasts as something far, far worse, uniquely categorizing them as woes for anyone living on the Earth.
And that leaves us right here, hanging on a massive, dramatic cliffhanger engineered perfectly by the source text. We've just watched a highly structured, meticulous dismantling of a third of the known world. We saw the heavenly silence absolutely shattered by fire and thunder. We've witnessed the first 4 angels sound their blasts. But the eagle's warning leaves us with one unavoidable question. If this level of absolute, systemic destruction is what the first 4 trumpets brought, what could possibly be left for the final 3? What on earth do those 3 woes actually entail?